Welcome to your favorite channel, The Law Circuit, a channel dedicated to encourage discussions on various current legal topics. We are here to simplify legal issues for you and make law more accessible to the common man. We here encourage discussions and consistently provide updates about the legal developments. So, ma'am, what is legally wrong with a movie that portrays such conversion? After all, a movie is just a story. It is not real life, it's not a real thing.
Quite right. Movie is not something real. Movie is, after all, fiction. It's something that you go for entertainment, you watch it, you see it for 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever, and then you come back home. It's of course not real life. It's a creative work. It's a work of art. It's a creative work. But the problem arises when this creative art is going to hurt religious sentiments. Then there is a legal problem, because your fundamental right to speak, your freedom of speech and expression is having certain boundaries. It's set with certain boundaries. And what are those boundaries? That you will not encroach upon the feelings, the sentiments of other communities, of other people. So that's the reason why if you start defaming someone, if I start saying that so and so is a madman or he's a whatever, he's a corrupt guy without any evidence about it, that amounts to defamation. So similarly, when you make a movie and if certain people feel that it hurts their religious sentiments, then there is an issue and that has to be seen. So creativity and making a movie based on a particular social theme is no problem at all. We've always made movies on many social topics. We've made movies on mill workers, how they are harassed. We have made movies on how the relationship between a mill worker and the owner is there, what kind of strikes take place, what's the implication. We've made movies on, interfaith marriages. We've made movies on almost all kinds of topics, autism, everything possible under the sun. The problem arises when certain people in the social fabric start feeling that this hurts my religious sentiments. Therefore, this is an invasion on my rights. That's when the legal problem starts.
We believe that there were many petitions filed against this movie, some in High Court and some even in the Supreme Court. So what were the legal cases that were filed against this movie and how did they overcome this controversy?
You're right. There were many petitions which were filed because in our country, whenever a movie is released, especially one which touches topics which are conservative, there are many people who come up in the High Court and Supreme Court and they will seek ban of the movie. So we are very famous for that. We do have such petitions. So in this particular case, what happened was that there was already a matter going on before the Supreme Court, the hate speech matter. So someone came up with a petition in that matter and they said that, this particular movie is nothing but an example of hate speech. Why? Because it is an audio-visual propaganda against the Muslims. It hurts the religious sentiments of the Muslims. Muslims do not engage in such forced conversions, and this movie does not portray them in true light. It shows them in poor light, and therefore this movie should be banned. So the Supreme Court said that, look here, we are hearing the hate speech matter, so we are not going to get into these kind of controversies. Then thereafter, there were two other petitions which were filed. One was filed by Jamaitul May Hind, and there was a petition filed by some Qurban Ali or something. So both these petitions had different prayers. The first one by the Jamaat group prayed that the movie should be banned, otherwise it should be released if at all with certain disclaimers. The second petition which came up, the Qurban Ali petition, that sought a ban of the movie as such. The Supreme Court said that we are not going to ban movies because the censor board has already gone through it and they have seen it, so the Supreme Court did not ban it. But of late, the Supreme Court has passed an order in the first petition by the Islamic group saying that the movie could be released subject to certain disclaimers. The disclaimer being that this movie is a work of fiction, it's a fictional work, and the most controversial part was that 32,000 people got converted. So they want a disclaimer in that movie to say that this issue about 32,000 women being converted into Muslims is something which is not backed by data. So with these two kind of disclaimers, the Supreme Court has permitted the movie to be released. There was a petition in the Kerala High Court as well as in the Madras High Court. In Kerala High Court, the judge refused to interfere with it. One, because the censor board was had already gone through the matter and then released the movie and then thought that it would be fit to be released in the public. And the Kerala High Court also found that the Supreme Court was seized of the matter. So therefore the Kerala High Court did not interfere with it. And as far as Madras High Court is concerned, they also did not interfere because the matter was before the Supreme Court.
Now that we know that the movie has been released, can it still be banned, or are there any legal implications?
See, now the Supreme Court has already given its verdict. I don't think that the movie can still be banned because it's the Supreme Court, is the apex court. And once the apex court has given its view, then I don't think there is a chance for any other court to interfere and then again ban it. Of course, if there is a new cause of action, someone comes with something else which is found in the movie which is objectionable, then perhaps if it is an issue which the Supreme Court has not considered, then maybe someone will come with a petition and the court will consider it. But as of now, the movie is released and everyone is watching it, so there is no problem at all on that.
Is there any legal restriction on making a movie that is based on real events or has been inspired from real events? How is the audience supposed to relate to a movie if the movie itself does not relate to the real world?
That's right. Movie must relate to something which is real. People should be able to connect with the movie, with the story, with the plot. Otherwise, it's of no use. We are not talking about fiction and we're not talking about, showpieces. We're talking about real people. And we've always had, movies which are actually based on real life, real people. You've had biopics. You had a movie on Gandhi. You had movies on various people. So as long as you remain within the four corners of freedom of speech, where you do not sort of cross the boundary and hurt the religious sentiments or portray something which is objectionable, such a movie can always be made and there is no bar at all. There will always be someone or the other who will come up and try to object to the movie in some way or the other. Then the normal course is the censor board. Censor board will look at it, if they find it objectionable, that particular portion will be cut off. Like in Pathan case, when the movie was released, there was a lot of objection. Some scenes were cut off. So similarly, this is not the first movie which has faced an objection. There have been several movies, and every time a movie comes up, this is always the point. This portion is objectionable or that portion is objectionable. But these are always dealt with either by the censor board or by the courts. They will see the movie and then they will say that, okay, yeah, this objection is sustainable. But most of the times the courts, do not interfere with the release of the movie because it's a work of fiction. And it's for people to decide whether they want to see the movie or they don't want to see the movie.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this amazing discussion on the topic Kerala Story and explaining to our audience this topic in such a simplistic manner. And I hope our audience has understood this gamut. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel, The Law Circuit, as we will be repeatedly coming back with you with such latest updates. Thank you.